First of all, I'd like to thank Sadie and the entire crew at Nightworms for inviting me to celebrate 2021. I loved what you put together last year, and I'm so excited to be a part of it this year. My name is Robert Ford. I am the writer of numerous novels and novella collections and short stories, and I'm going to read today from my latest novel, Burner. Chapter 1 is already online on my YouTube channel. And now that it's been out a while and the reviews are still coming in, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into the book and give you a taste of the two main characters, Iris and Audrey. Chapter 12, Audrey, Then. Audrey watched the coffee pot reach its 12-cup line as it brewed. Sleep had been fitful, and her eyes felt raw, as if she had been crying in her dreams. She opened the cabinet and pulled two mugs out, stopped, and stared at them for a moment. With a shaking hand, Audrey returned one mug back to the shelf. After pouring herself a cup of coffee, Audrey headed back toward the living room, where she glanced at the white bag on the kitchen counter. Audrey had noticed it earlier when she woke up, but couldn't remember bringing it into the house. She sat on the couch and flicked the television on, immediately changing the channel to the news. They had usually watched the morning news together, enough to at least catch the headlines of what was happening in the world. Paul would usually have an opinion to voice out loud before he left for the day. Politics, sports, wars around the world. Paul was well versed in all of the major news topics. Audrey turned the television off. The bag on the kitchen counter behind her issued a series of muffled vibrating sounds and went quiet again. Audrey set her mug on the coffee table and walked to the counter. She peeled the plastic open and saw the fabric of Paul's suit folded up neatly at the bottom. Resting on top in a separate, smaller plastic bag were his wallet, car keys, and his iPhone. Audrey lifted the phone and touched the screen to bring it to life. A missed video call from Sarah and a text. "Miss you, Daddy. See you in 2 weeks." Audrey closed her eyes and released a breath. She checked the time and saw it was barely past 8 o'clock. Ireland was 5 hours ahead. Not yet. I'll wait and call Sarah later, after her day is done. She set Paul's iPhone on the counter. Audrey had no idea how to even start the conversation with Sarah. She glanced at the phone again. His office. I have to call and tell Paul's office. At least that'll be a start. A practice. Audrey pulled Paul's wallet and car keys from the bag and lifted his suit jacket free of the plastic. She felt around the inside jacket pockets and withdrew 3 business cards. They were simple linen paper stock, thick in a creamy off-white color. In the middle of the card was Paul Dugan, Custom Components. A phone number and 3 diamonds were printed in red ink at the bottom of the card. Nothing else. No logo or address or website or even an email. The business cards were as unfamiliar to Audrey as the phone number. Audrey moved to the living room couch and picked her phone up from the coffee table. She took a deep breath and dialed the number on Paul's business card. She heard the ringing sound once, and then there was a change in the humming tone on the other end of the line. It rang once more, and then there was nothing but silence, not even a recorded message for voicemail. Audrey ended the call and compared the number on the business card to the one on her phone's recent calls list to make sure she had dialed it correctly. The numbers matched, and she hit the call button again with the same results. She checked the suit pockets of Paul's jacket once more and withdrew a red plastic pen from an inner pocket. Covenant Security. She rolled it over in her fingers and saw a phone number on one side, with vendor sample stamped beside it. Audrey smiled at the pen. Paul's name and information had popped up on some mailing list a few years ago, and at least once a month he received some sort of vendor sample from what he used to call trash and trinket companies, trying to wrangle business out of them. They never did, but they kept trying. There was a collection of miscellaneous items in the kitchen, grouped together in that all-too-familiar junk drawer every household owns. Customized pens and notepads, lanyards, and colored stress balls, all of them vendor samples sent to Paul. Every few months, Audrey would sort through the cheap plastic goods and toss certain items in the garbage. She stared at the phone number on the pen. It was different than what was on the business card. She picked her phone up and dialed the number on the pen. Someone answered on the first ring. Covenant Security, how may I direct your call? The woman's voice was pleasant and upbeat, and it caught Audrey off guard. Yes, could you connect me to Human Resources, please? Absolutely. I'll transfer you to Kathy Gonzalez, our head of Human Resources. One moment. Easy listening music kicked in, and Audrey listened to Don Henley as she waited. It stopped abruptly, and another woman's voice spoke in her ear, delivering a voicemail recording, then a beep. Hello, my name is Audrey Dugan, and I'm calling because... She let out a breath. It would be the first time she had spoken the reality out loud. My husband works for your company, and he passed away yesterday. There was a click on the other end of the call, and then a woman's voice. Hello? Yes, hello. Audrey heard the woman sigh. Mrs. Dugan, I'm so sorry. I heard you begin to leave a message. I'm so sorry to hear about your husband. Thank you. Audrey cleared her throat and shook her head. There was the sound of fingers typing on a computer keyboard. What was your husband's name, Mrs. Dugan? Paul. Audrey heard herself speak, but her voice sounded small. Okay. The sound of the keyboard working again. Paul Dugan. D-U-G-A-N? Yes. The tiny, sharp double-click sound of a computer mouse. I don't have any record of a Paul Dugan. You're based in Harrisburg, right? That's right, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Audrey sat up on the couch. Is there another division my husband could be based out of for some reason? Another location? Was your husband in marketing? No. The sound of a chair creaked on the other end of the call. Covenant Securities has 2 locations, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and Tampa, Florida. The Tampa office is marketing staff only. Audrey swallowed hard. Could you please check again? Mrs. Dugan. Audrey squeezed the phone and felt heat rush through her body. For the last 7 goddamn years, my husband has been leaving the house every morning and telling me he goes to work at your office. For 7 years. Audrey's face was burning. Her throat was dry. She lowered her voice, but inside she felt ready to shatter onto the floor like so many glass beads in a jar. Could you please fucking check again? The woman on the end of the call sighed heavily, but Audrey heard the creak of the chair and the clicking sound of the keyboard resume. When the woman spoke again, her voice was softer. Mrs. Dugan, I'm sorry, but there's no record of your husband at all on our payroll system, not even on our list of independent contractors. Audrey slid from the couch to her knees and let the phone fall to the floor. Oh, Paul, what have you been doing? So there's a sample of my latest novel, Burner. And again, Sadie, thanks so much.